as always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Well, I thought about going with the Ruckert kid from Ohio State for being the only player in the history of football to be excited to go to the Jets. Also thought about going with New England for taking a Tennessee Chattanooga guard in the first round that everyone else had like as a third rounder.
Cole Strange, you know the best part about him, and I've watched quite a bit of him. He was at the Senior Bowl. I watched quite a bit of him. He's got some good tools, but yeah, no. I mean, he's just not at like. Now he's quick and like strong. Like you look at some of the, like the percentiles he ended up on the testing stuff. Like I get it, but like. You don't take that guy in the first round. I don't care if he wears the single bar down the middle of his face mask and it looks old school and awesome. Like, no.
He
also
was
doesn't
number
wear gloves.
69, though, which is great.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot to like about the guy. The guy doesn't wear gloves. Psycho move. The guy has the bar down the middle of his face mask, which no one does anymore. Psycho move. And his last name's Strange. Like, the guy just can't be normal. I mean, his last name's Strange. So maybe he's the perfect Patriot.
I bet Belichick's like, hey, wait until we put some gloves on this guy. He's going to be amazing.
That's it's going to take him to another level. Yeah, no. Because I was flipping through all the different draft coverages, and they're like, Cole Strange, and everyone was like, whoa, what? Like every single person.
But I ended up settling on wide receivers, man. Wide receiver is the new hot position. Gabe, 6 wide receivers taken in the top 18 picks. How about that? Insane. Damn. So wide receiver is now, I think it's official. It used to be quarterback, left tackle, pass rusher, corner. Add wide receiver to the mix. I'd say it's official, especially with the offseason we saw with some of the huge numbers being thrown towards free agent wideouts. I'd say wide receiver is the new hot position in the NFL. Now, it's always been one that gets guys' attention and always well known, popular, but now it's showing up in the draft and it's showing up in the free agent contracts. They're breaking the bank.
Yeah, 17 wide receivers selected in the first 3 rounds.
Crazy.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's
well,
the game has changed.
The first one went at like 12. And then, like,
no, remember
14, 15, 16.
No,
right?
It was Drake London at like 8 to Atlanta.
8, and then maybe it was 12, 13, 14.
Yeah,
something like that. They just started ripping off wide receivers. There's a run on wideouts, but it's wild. Wide receivers, big money, big time draft picks, really impressive stuff, and that just tells you the game is more and more moving to the air. What can you do through the air?
And let's not forget, A.J. Brown gets traded to the Eagles, and they immediately gave him $100 million.
Nuts. It's crazy. And
Good.
He's a big, strong, physical wide receiver, but $100 million? Yeah.
Woo. It's a lot of cash. All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Well, there was 6 wide receivers taken in the first round. There were 0 running backs or tight ends taken in the first round. The first time in NFL draft history, no running backs or tight ends taken in the first round. Crazy that went down. Running backs used to be the position. You take a running back number 1, and whoever the best guy coming out, that's where all the money was. Now it's all the game has changed a lot. Now, some of your tight ends that you see in the league are your pass catchers. That's where the money is. But, traditionally that's more of a blocking type of position. And it's just crazy. No running backs or tight ends taken in the first round, first time in draft history. Just crazy.
The only thing that surprised me more than that was like the quarterback thing actually happened.
Yeah.
Like Kenny Pickett goes at 20, and then I think Ritter went at 74 to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like even all the people doing the TV coverage were like, "Oh my, they're actually doing it. They actually think these quarterbacks stink like we do."
Right. Wasn't like a panic to just start drafting quarterbacks in the first round that you didn't think were ever going to pan out. It's smart. And I forgot that one of the other ones I was thinking about going with loser was everyone but the SEC. Gabe, SEC number one in draft picks, 16 straight years now. The SEC's been number one. And I don't see that changing for a long time.
It's, in my opinion, the gap's only going to continue to widen.
Yep.
Well, they have 65 picks.
Crazy numbers.
It's like there's a lot of talented football players in that league or something.
Yeah, a quarter of them came from one team, Georgia, 15.
Whew. Yeah. That's a perfect segue into my winner and loser of the weekend. But first
Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs, checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information.
And make sure, if you're a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you're doing, head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage Single Malt Whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. You almost forgot. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year round. Remember, back in 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnnie Walker and Macallan, and became the first American distillery to win that competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners, yeah, they're from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. I got a feeling Pat Narduzzi could use some Balcones in his life right now.
He may have had some before he called Lincoln.
You never know. All right, for my win of the weekend, thought about going with Georgia. I mean, you mentioned it. 5 first-rounders, all on that defense. 15 draft picks.
That's crazy.
15. Hell, their punter even got drafted, Ted.
Wow. That's wild.
I mean, just beyond impressive. That's how you win a national championship.
Yeah.
That's how you dethrone Bama.
And here's the thing, man. Good things happen to good teams. Like if you win a lot of football games as a team and you elevate one another like that as a team, everyone's going to feel the success, right? Everyone's going to be in the spotlight more, and it's going to end up paying off for a lot of guys.
I also thought about going with the Golden State Warriors to win game 1 in Memphis when Draymond Green got ejected in the first half, which I did not agree with that ejection. It was
what
kind
happened?
of
I just saw like a little clip from it. And
it was a playoff foul. And he grabbed him. Yeah. And he pulled him down, but he tried to like pull him down gently, like prevent him from hitting the ground hard. Like he got ejected because he's Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a reputation ejection. Like if Giannis does that, and we'll get to Giannis later. If Giannis does that, he's not getting thrown out of the game. He got ejected because he's Draymond.
Yeah. For some reason, my hatred of Draymond Green is fading a lot. I actually like a lot of the things he's been saying recently. What's happening to me? Is that me or is he changing?
I think he's getting a little older. You're getting a little older.
Yeah.
And also, like, he's got some wisdom to him now.
Yeah.
So I know it still feels like yesterday he kicked Steven Adams in the nuts. Like, I understand, like, but it's been a while now. He stole.
Yeah.
He was one of the reasons he stole Kevin Durant. But it's been a while now. Like, hey, time heals all wounds. Is that a saying? I think that's a saying.
Yeah. I think that's well said.
But I can't believe I'm going to do this. My winner of the weekend, the New York Jets. Yes, Sauce Gardner at 4. Bring all the chains, Sauce. Bring all the bling, man. You got some receivers in that division you got to cover, man. Whatever, you need all the confidence you could have. Garrett Wilson at 10. Really like that guy. Traded back and landed Jermaine Johnson, a guy that some people thought he was the best, like, pure pass rusher in the draft.
He's a beast. Yeah.
They got him at 26. I mean, one of the premier edge rushers in the draft, they got him at 26.
If he would have gone at 10 or 12, no one would have batted an eye.
No. Like, not at all. And they traded down and got him. I got Breece Hall at 36, best running back in the draft, and it's really not even a debate. You mentioned the Ruckert guy. Like, I actually like his game.
Yeah.
He can block a little bit too now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they got him in the 3rd. I know it's the Jets, but they've finished last in the AFC East 5 out of the last 6 years. But I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment. Joe Douglas had a good draft. I'm going to give that guy his credit.
Yeah. I agree. All of those names are really good players. We'll see if it translates to the NFL. That it doesn't always work that way, but I think it's a really good collection of talent. There's no doubt. And some of, like, the behind the scenes footage of how some of that stuff took place is really cool to watch too.
Yeah. And I will say this. I think they're going to have a hell of a pick at like 111 also. I'm pretty sure they were going to draft Perrion, but a couple picks before Cleveland took him.
Yeah. Yep. No.
So it was almost
the Jets could turn it into some W's.
Got to protect Zach Wilson. We'll see if that O-line can stay healthy and hold up, but certainly gave him some weapons with Wilson. Hall. Solid, man. All right, for my loser of the weekend, thought about going with Joel Embiid. What did this guy do? I mean, guy can't buy a break. It was the thumb. Now he's got a broken face and a concussion to go with it. Happened when the 76ers were up by 30 on the Raptors with like 4 minutes left to go in that game. By the way, that was an incredibly impressive win by the 76ers. I thought they were going to lose that game for sure. And now he's going to have to miss the first few games of this series against the Heat. Like, does someone have like a voodoo doll of Joel Embiid and they're just beating the hell out of it?
I guarantee right now he doesn't feel like he's going to. I bet he's one beat up dude. Face crushed, thumb all jacked up. Probably doesn't feel like he's anywhere close to playing a postseason basketball game.
No, but he will because, yeah, he's a tough dude, I feel like. Mm-hmm. But also thought about going with the Texas Longhorns. 0 draft picks for Steve Sarkisian. I don't know what else to say. You went 5-7 and you didn't have a single guy drafted. But people are still going to put him in the preseason top 25. Hell, I was saying how good their skill guys looked in the spring game. They did, by the way. They looked fantastic. Yeah. Quinn Ewers was ripping that thing, but man, that's tough.
This is kind of proves my point. If you go back and look at Texas's recruiting over the past 3, 4, 5 years, it's not as good as Georgia, but it's close. It's where their overall rankings end up, right? and Georgia just had 15 players drafted, and Texas had 0. That's what I'm saying when good things happen to good teams. If you pull together as a group and win a bunch of football games, a bunch of guys are going to get drafted. You can't. I know Georgia has like an excellent amount of talent, but you can't tell me that every single recruit that Texas has had over the past 5 years has been a whiff. It's not the case. It's amazing the difference of like development and culture and all those things. That's ultimately what ends up turning those guys into draft picks.
So here are a couple of products of the 2021 Texas football season. They blew their biggest lead.
Mm-hmm.
They lost the most games in a row since 1956.
Ooh.
It was their first time ever to lose to Kansas at home. And now that the draft is concluded, it is the second time they've had no draft picks since 1938.
Hey, smart by Sarkisian to set the bar extremely low in year 1, right?
Yes. He's going for the most improved coach award this year. All right, but my loser of the weekend, the Boston Celtics, man, they got a Giannis problem. And I mean, the Bucks without Khris Middleton, the Milwaukee Bucks went to Boston and took game 1 from the Celtics, 101-89, and it really wasn't that close. Giannis is, he's the best player on the planet. He is. And as good as the Celtics are defensively, they had no answer for him in transition, in the half court, when he was in the paint. None. And when you look at what the Celtics did to the Nets in that last series, they beat the hell out of KD and Kyrie. Super physical with them. Giannis bullied their ass. They just couldn't do it to him. And 24 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists. At that size, he's just running in transition, with the ball in his hand.
Nothing you can do.
I feel like we don't appreciate him enough. He is an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah. He is. What, a year ago, 2 years ago, he was the talk of the NBA, and for whatever reason that faded pretty dramatically, and he's showing up again. And just a quick little reminder that there's really no one else like him in the league.
Yeah. And Drew Holiday was awesome in that game. Crazy eyes Bobby Portis, some big time shots. But the thing that stood out, the Bucks defense, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they had a tough time. And they missed some shots. They didn't shoot it well. They'll shoot it better than they did in that game. But the Bucks made them work to get open looks. And I'll say Marcus Smart didn't look like he was having much fun once he got that stinger. Man, the green hair looked solid. I liked it. Looked good. But he's got to be better if they want to win this series, especially when Middleton gets back. Sounds like he may be back game 3, maybe game 4. But they got to find a way to slow down Giannis. And the problem is, I don't think there is a way to slow down that dude. There's just,
not whenever you don't have. It's hard whenever you just can't throw more size at him and athleticism at him, because he's gonna win that trump every single time. It's tough.
I guess you just have to hope that Drew Holiday doesn't shoot it that well, and that Bobby Portis doesn't hit those shots, and Connaughton doesn't hit open threes. And you just have to hope the other guys miss. There's no stopping that dude, especially he's hitting his free throws at a pretty high clip. I don't know what you do. Guy's a freak of nature.
That he hurts his thumb and breaks his face.
And gets a concussion in the process. Poor Joel Embiid, man. He's so fun to watch too. That's a